Hello, everybody. Church of the Offended here, coming to you October 3rd, 2025. How's that for news? Okay. Call this video Epidemic of Fatherlessness Part 2, if you wish. And I would like to focus on an individual who is a member of a band that has had a huge influence over me musically and spiritually for a lot of years. Very, very good band. Never did really make the big time, if you will, but has a loyal following, and they've got a really long story. And I'm going to try not to reveal the band before I get my point across concerning the epidemic of fatherlessness. Okay. So, one of the members of this band was abandoned by his mother and father. So it's not just fatherlessness, but it's an extreme case of abandonment by the very people who should have cared for him and raised him and taken responsibility for them, right? They did not. This person, God bless him, was raised by his grandmother, okay? Not even his grandfather, but his grandmother. One of the songs on their second release, well, crud, I lost it. Let me pull it up again. Bada bing, bada boom, with the magic of the internet. Here we are. I won't read all of the lyrics because it will reveal to you which band of which I speak. So, this was on their second release. Probably, God, what year was that? I could look it up again with the magic of the internet. But I would say probably early 90s. Okay. And this band started off, I don't want to say started off as a Christian band, but they were, each of the members were influenced and took part in Christian bands before they came together. Okay. When they came together, it was a match made in heaven. The three of them. Oops, I already revealed one clue. And I didn't mean to do that. Some of you know already who I'm talking about. So, the lyrics in their second release and their most popular song, probably one of the most popular songs always, was Grandma used to sing every night while she was praying. Over my head, I hear music, oh Lord. Music, I hear music. Music, oh Lord. Music over my head. And even in the video, you see a grandmotherly looking person who's praying. And she was looking up and she says, over my head, I hear music. And this was the influence that this person had. Okay. So he was brought into a Christian way of thinking, but this grandmother didn't exactly have it correct. She taught him that God's going to get you if you sin. God's going to get you. And that is not right. And that steered him away from the faith, the Christian faith. Okay? I hate to keep saying okay, but it's just kind of what comes out. So they put out another album, which was very Christian. I have it right here. The looks are, the smile is a lie. The clock drags on, the smoke is in your eyes. You know the blame is someone, but you don't quite know who. If it could only be different, if only you could run away from it. Prisoner, choosing death for life. Prisoner, smiling executioner. If money, if love was in your life, it's run out. You got to realize it's time. Confusion, delusion, alive in destitution. If it could only be different, if only you could run away from it. Prisoner, choosing death for life. Fantastic song. Touched me. This was on their fourth release. Okay. Yeah, this is when they were still somewhat Christian. And I use quotes because they were never overtly Christian, but they kind of kept it beneath the surface, leading you to believe that's what they really believed. But how would I phrase that? They wanted to be known for their musicianship and their songwriting, not just uh, their lyrics and their message. Okay, very good band. One of my faves. And then the fourth album came out. Excuse me, 1993, and it was lyrics and music were primarily written by this one person that I'm talking about, and it was an album full of pain. Okay, and he was, I don't know how old he was. I want to say early 60s, maybe late 50s, maybe. But he was an individual that had come to the realization that he was in pain. And I don't want to say he embraced it, but he accepted it. And he, as musicians do, the music reflects their lives, okay, and what they think about and what they believe at the time and in their throughout their whole lives, and the changes that go throughout their lives. So this fourth album was pretty rough, and man, I got hooked on it. And musically, it was fantastic. They came here to Amarillo, Texas, 1993. I went to the large bar where they were going to play, and I said, "Man, I want to help these guys. I want to help them set up. I want to help them tear down. I don't want to get paid. I just want to come help." And I did. And I came and I helped. And it was very revelatory for me. I was exposed to his thinking. And disappointingly, it seemed like the Christian ethos on his part was just gone. Uh, he wasn't afraid to cuss. He was in, um, I hate to use the word rebellion, but he hasn't been exposed or taught what true Christianity is. Okay, true Christianity is forgiveness and healing of the inner wounds that shape lives. Okay, inner wounds shape lives. Whether you like it or not. Until you get at the root of the inner wound, you will not be healed of it. But you have to get at the root. And I don't have the scriptures right in front of me, but that's a scriptural point that needs to be taken into account. Okay, fourth album, CD. The album is for people, Gen X. Okay, CD, full of pain. The next album comes out quite good. Okay, there's a song on the fourth album that makes me cry. Okay. She was a white-skinned black beauty, the daughter of an Indian. Her grandparents raised her in northern Illinois. I call her Mother. He was a son of a hellfire holiness preacher woman. They say nobody was wilder, but maybe his brother. I call him Father. He was young, stealing love. She was young, calling love. We all got together for the first time last September. I said, somebody take a photograph. I've got a camera. Now I got me a favorite picture. So whether this lyric is true or not, whether he set out to find his mother and father, or whether this is just I hate to say it, but a fantasy. It's a reflection of his heart. Somebody take a photograph. I've got a camera. Now I got me a favorite picture. This is the epitome of child abandonment. This kid was raised by his grandmother. Abandoned by his mother and father. And eventually, this guy, well, let me go back. When I help him set up and tear down, a lot of cuss words, okay, coming out of his mouth. The rest of the band were nice as pie, friendly, and they accepted their brother, their fellow musician, their bandmate, for who he was. And man, that's the epitome. That's what Christianity should be. Acceptance. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that changes should not occur after that acceptance, because people have to realize, everyone has to realize what sin is and where the boundary is between good and evil, sin and holiness. Okay? But these guys are still together, and they're in their probably late 60s. He's probably in his early 70s, and I've even reached out to this musician on Facebook Messenger telling him, or inviting him, not telling him, that there's healing available for him of his inner wounds. And he sent me back a heart icon. What's the symbol? There it is. The heart icon, right? So I don't know if he actually got it. I hope he did. But I told him, I said, we will come to you and we will help you get over this inner wound. And Jesus will make you whole. The Holy Spirit will make you whole. Nothing else can. No other religion can. No counseling can. Only Jesus can make you whole. And I took a little trip down memory lane today. 1993. I met up with these guys and I helped them. I helped the techs set up, tear down. I learned about, I'm a drummer primarily. So I learned about the setup that he used back then. He used, I think it was Yamaha drums. And he used Pasty Signature series cymbals. Loud. Man, it was loud. And I helped the opening band tear down and load out. And I heard them start up, and I came in, and I was not backstage, but I was on the side. The stage was here, and I walked in, and I saw those guys. And it was a sight to behold. The level of camaraderie and brotherhood is what makes a band. Mutual respect, friendship, respect each other and their views and their visions and their dreams. That's what makes a band, and that's what these guys do. They're still together. They put out, I don't know how many CDs, albums, whatever you want to call it, releases, but still one of my favorite bands. And for the big reveal, the band's name is King's X. Okay? Wisdom cries out on the streets. There's a lesson to be learned in everything. This man was abandoned by his mother and father, and it caused him a lot of trouble. He even came out eventually as being homosexual. Now, he's not a flaming homosexual. He's just a dude that's struggling with his inner wounds and doesn't know how to deal with it. But Jesus is the only way to deal with it. So, 18 minutes. Holy cow, 19 minutes. Love you guys. Church of the Offended. Adios.